Welcome to For His Name's Sake. We're so glad that you're here. I'm Valentine and this is my mom, Retina. And we're going to try something a little different. You know how at the end of the show, I ask you to like, subscribe. Well, I'm going to do that in the beginning just to see how it goes. So, for all of you who are new, welcome. And we do hope that you like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so that you can get notified anytime a video comes up. Lord willing, we do a video every day. We do a talk. My dad does shorts sporadically, and we do a song every other day. So we hope that you stick around.
Yeah.
Now we can get into the topic, which is going to be on theft. All kinds of theft. Whether it be money, banks, scammers, regular robbery.
Yeah, identity theft, which I guess would be like scammers, yeah. And, well, stealing cars, stealing property, materialistic things.
And of course, we'll give scripture and real life examples.
Yeah.
So, do you want to go first?
Okay, well, I will just start with the famous scripture found in Exodus chapter 20, verse 15 that reads, and it's also found in Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 19 that says, "You shall not steal."
That's very blunt.
That's one of the commandments. And then along the same lines in Leviticus chapter 19:11, "You shall not steal, nor deal falsely, nor lie to one another." So when I saw that "nor deal falsely," that right away made me think of people that do hot checks. Now, checks today, in today's time, I think that they're almost, I could be wrong, but it seems like not hardly anybody uses checks anymore unless it's for a huge sum of money at a big corporation or something. They have to write a big, like a cashier's check. Maybe those are still in existence, but just somebody writing a check like at the grocery store, for example, I don't see that too often anymore.
Back when I was a little girl, it was quite popular, but then when I reached my teens, that's when I noticed there's not much checks anymore.
Right. So when I read that about you shall not steal nor deal falsely, I was thinking that's a double whammy right there. And immediately I was thinking about people writing hot checks. You know, they stole your checks. They stole somebody's checks, and I don't know what they did to it. They probably reproduced it on their own printer or something and then forged your signature to make it look, authentic. But in reality, it was not a real check because the money wasn't there. So, back in my day, that was a big thing. People writing hot checks left and right and getting in trouble for it. But that's what I thought about there. But it could be for anything, of course. And then it says, "Don't lie to one another." Of course, you're lying when you're doing any of those things. Yeah. So I think, but we'll talk about some more, and we'll kind of bring in some more scripture as we're talking. But we have actually been victims of identity theft twice, and I would say almost a third time. Just recently, in fact. I don't know if it's identity theft or what it is, but we noticed when we were checking our, we have several accounts. I know this sounds like a lot. We don't have a lot of money. We just have a checking account. We have and then we don't even have a savings account. We just have a checking account, and then we have a separate account where YouTube puts their money in to, which is not a whole lot of money. Everybody always thinks, oh, YouTube people are making a lot of money. No, maybe if they have millions of subscribers, then they're making lots of money. But we're not making a whole lot of money. I mean, we've only had one check put in so far, and that was for, I'd say around $100 or so.
That's what YouTube does, $100 increments. Right,
so they wait until you get to a certain amount, and then they send you a check. And that's all we've gotten since we've gotten monetized, and that was several months ago already. I want to say back in was it January? It was some time ago. So anyway, I'm not here to complain about that. I'm just saying that we had to get a separate account with our For His Name's Sake on it, and that's called a business account. And our bank is very picky. We had to have quite a bit of money in there in order to even open up the account. So we took the money from the surplus that we had from the auction of our house, and we put quite a bit of money in there, And we weren't really keeping track of it because we were never using it. And my husband and I agreed that we would never take any money out of that account unless we actually desperately needed something for the channel itself. Like, let's say, a better camera, or our camera was broken. We would only get it if the camera was broken. We wouldn't be like one of those people, I need a more fancier equipment. No, it was more if something broke, then we would get a new camera. And we would use that business account money for that. But mainly the account was so that YouTube could make deposits into the account. So that money would just sit there for months on end. And something told me, it must have been God, something told me we need to check the balance on our business account and see if it's still the same. And when I told my husband that, he said, well, of course it would be the same. It may be a little bit more because of YouTube putting in a check or two, but it should pretty much stay the same. Well, then we found out that somebody had actually made some Amazon purchases from that account, and we know that we didn't, because we had promised each other we were not going to, and I don't even have a debit card, so I can't make any purchases. And my husband, he knows that he didn't use his debit card to make Amazon purchases. So anyway, we had to do a whole lot of research. We tried to call Amazon. We didn't get anywhere with them. They had to have a certain item number, and we didn't have that. And then I don't know what it is. I'm sorry if I'm very, of course we can't accuse anybody until we have the facts or we have the proof. But this person that made 2 purchases, I'd say the total of, was it $200 or $300, something like that. They used my husband's business debit card, and he never uses that because, like I said, we had told each other, I don't even know why he got the debit card. I guess so that in case we needed a new camera, then he could make the purchase online for that. But someone used the debit card, and he never takes that debit card with him. I think it's in his wallet, but it's like between things. And I know they have this new device, believe it or not, in technology, where those scanners where you scan at the grocery store, like if you're getting something difficult that won't scan by itself and you have to get that little handheld thing and you scan it. Well, those things, there's technology today that can go through someone's wallet and get the identification or the number off the credit card. I've never heard of such a thing in my life. It does exist, but I still don't think that it was done that way. I truly believe it was someone in the bank itself, and I know what y'all are probably thinking, oh no, nobody would steal from the bank because you can get in a whole lot of trouble. You can have prison time. Yes, that's true. We've actually seen that happen in the previous city we lived in. Someone that was a bank teller that was working in the bank, they stole money from someone's account and bought all kinds of stuff for themselves. And of course, they're in prison now. But it can happen. And something just tells me that this one person, I think,
because we associated with this person to get the account.
Right. This person opened up that particular bank account for us, and so they would be the only ones that would have access to. And my husband was, I hate to say the word dumb. I don't want to use that because he's going to see this video and edit it out. But he chose not to get a PIN number for this particular debit card. He should have, because if he did, this other person would, I don't know. Well, with Amazon, I don't think you need a PIN number. You don't need a PIN number on Amazon. It just acts like a regular credit card. So anyway, long story short, they spent over almost $300 on 2 Amazon items using my husband's business debit card that he never uses. It's hardly ever with him. And so that's an example. I don't know if that's identity theft or if that's just someone stealing using our debit card. I guess debit/bank cards that would fall under that category.
It's still stealing.
Right.
It's still a theft.
Right. So, and we've been victims of identity theft in the past as well, and we can talk about that a little bit later. But we'd also like to share that we ourselves have actually stolen before in our lives, believe it or not. Valentine, she just shared with me a while ago, and it's kind of a cute story. But anyway, go ahead.
Of course, nothing is, this is before I became a Christian, but still, it's still part of your conscience. It was when I was a little girl, and some other little girl on the school bus had left behind her little stuffed animal that she had gotten, and we were playing with it, and she got off the bus, and I noticed when she got off, she had left behind this little stuffed animal. And of course, my instincts, I would actually picked it up, but I never gave it back to her. I guess when I saw her the next day when we went to class, I kept it. I can't believe to this day I did that.
Little innocent little Valentine over here. Does she look like a thief?
If I could go back, believe me, I would. And I know that God has forgiven me, and that was before my Christian days. But still, even non-Christians have a conscience. I knew what I was doing. I did. So,
do you still have that, or did it get donated to the Goodwill or something? Okay.
Yeah, so it stayed in the family a while.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if you're watching today, but if you recognize my face from many, many, many years ago, I'm so sorry.
Oh. And then I stole when I was in 3rd grade, back in the day when we had, I know, you know, if you're a Christian, you probably don't play with Barbie. If you have kids, you probably don't allow your kids to play with Barbie doll. It's a very controversial matter, or subject matter, but back in my day, Barbie dolls was a big thing, and kind of a new thing, actually. And me and my little friends from grade school would get together after school, and we'd play Barbie doll, Ken and Barbie, you know, and get them all dressed up, and we'd have so much fun. But there was this one particular brand new Barbie that had just come out, and I knew my parents would never get it for me, or for whatever reason, and I wanted that one. And I asked my friend first if I could borrow it, and she said, "No way, this is a brand new Barbie doll, and I'm not gonna let anybody borrow it." Well, when she wasn't watching, I stole her Barbie doll, and I kept it for myself for some time at my home, and I played with my own little Barbie dolls. And then I found out that she was devastated, really devastated, just crying, wondering where her Barbie doll was. She told her mother, and then her mother talked to the parents. Have y'all seen the Barbie doll? Did anybody take it? And then finally, I felt really guilty, and I just had to come forward and say, "I'm sorry, I stole your Barbie, but you wouldn't lend it to me, so I had no choice but to steal it." That's terrible. But
well, at least you were honest.
Yeah, but after some time, after that relationship was very rocky. It was never the same again. She said, "I forgive you," but you know, we were just third graders, and you know how kids are. They kind of hang on to things. They got their heart broken for some time, and the relationship between me and that girl was never the same before. That was my consequence. That was the bad thing. Instead of going to jail like you would now if you stole in your adult years, my consequence for me was that I lost my friendship, my good friendship that I had. And our group of friends was never the same, because either she wasn't there or I wasn't there, or one would gossip about the other to the other group. It was awful. It was just terrible. Yeah. Well, anyway, I learned my lesson. Don't steal. Yep. Okay, did you want to, we got some more scripture here that we can share.
Okay.
If she could read my writing.
Looks like it's from Proverbs 6, verse 30 and 31. People do not despise a thief if he starts to set... I'm sorry.
You want me to read it?
Maybe it's my glasses.
Okay. Let's see. People do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy himself when he is starving. Yet when he is found, he must restore sevenfold. He may have to give up all the substance of his house. Yeah. And that was she read Proverbs 6 verses 30 and 31. And I actually knew someone several years ago when we were living in Texarkana. I met a lady, and she said that her husband had served some prison time for stealing quite a bit of things from people. And then when he became a Christian, he decided upon himself when he got out of prison that he was going to pay back everybody. Well, unfortunately, a lot of those things that he stole, he pawned off at a pawn shop, and just to get money, you know. And he would go back to those pawn shops and try to retrieve some of those items. Some of those items, believe it or not, were still there after all those months, you know, of him being in prison for that, or jail. But some of it was gone, and so he had to work for it, you know, and then get the money and give them the money back. Of course, you can't replace sentimental items. So if he stole sentimental items and then pawned them off, and they weren't there at the pawn shop later, that was a sad situation. and that was probably his consequence, along with jail time that he had to deal with. But he did go according to that scripture. And I said, why did you do that? Why did you go back and do all those things? And he said, because it's in the scripture. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to go back and give back sevenfold, restore sevenfold to these people. Oh, anyway, that's what he did.
What's interesting about this verse is my first instinct was, but he was starving, because it says he steals to satisfy himself when he is starving. So you think about the people in countries, or even here today, and there's homeless people in the street and they might steal to eat. It's interesting that God still, he does not accept that, because the more you steal, even if it's in a desperate situation, you're going to do it the next time, and the next time after that, before you're stealing for no good reason at all.
And then I guess you still need to pay back.
You still need to pay it back. So I've never been in a situation, so I can't talk for those who are starving. But I guess in those situations, ask, or like we see here, beg, or pray to God. If you're a Christian, like, God, please help me to have food today.
Right.
Because it's like that Bible verse also in Proverbs we used to have on the wall that says, God, please give me what I need for today. Don't let me steal and defame your name, basically.
Yeah. And then it also said, don't give me too much.
Yeah.
So I forget all about you. I love that scripture. I forgot where it is.
Me too. I just know it's in Proverbs.
Yeah.
I think.
It's a beautiful passage. Yeah. And then as far as identity theft, we were victims of that several years ago. We actually met someone. We thought that they were a little bit, it's a long story, but basically, I don't even know if they were really Christian. They said they were Christian, but I don't know if they were or not.
The personality was not.
They were also very bipolar and didn't always take their medication. And I'm not here to talk bad about bipolar people, but if you don't take your medication and you're really bad, then you're really, you can get kind of out of control a little bit emotionally. And she just came out and said, I'm a professional hacker, and I could easily just get into your computer and just tear that thing up. And I thought, tear it up? What do you mean? I was actually thinking like physically, like she was going to come to my house and just kind of, throw it across the room. She said, no, I can get into your system and just, if you have photographs, I can take those and steal those. I can get into your bank account. And I thought, but you don't know my social security number. She goes, I can find out. I can do it. I'm a professional hacker. I can get right into your computer. It's like I'm right in there. And I thought, why is she telling me this? That was the strange thing about it. And sure enough, shortly thereafter, our computers were hacked into. We had to go call our bank. We had to tell them we don't want that bank account anymore. Oh my goodness, it was a mess. We had to cut up our credit cards. At that time we did have credit cards. We had to put stops on checks. I mean, anything that was out and about, we had to put a stop on it. It was a mess.
It was devastating too, because we had downloaded some pictures off of our digital camera and some old videos. And we had videos from my little brother, who was only 3 years old, and he was talking. He was so cute.
So precious.
And now someone has stolen that.
Yes, they're all gone. And then we went to someone said, you got to go to the police. So we went to the police, and the police said, this is not a police matter. Anything that happens online is not a police matter. I'm sorry, you're on your own. Get yourself a private investigator. Well, at that time, private investigators, they're kind of expensive. They charge per the hour, I think. And we didn't have that kind of money laying around, so we had to become our own private investigators. I mean, I was looking out the window a lot, back in the day, because I didn't have anything better to do. But it got so bad where this particular person, and I don't know if it was her that hacked into our computer or if she had friends that were working for her, but they would follow us. They would stalk us, and wherever we went, they followed me to when the kids were in school. They would follow me down to the school to see where I was picking up my children. That was downright weird.
We had to let the principal know, hey, just so you know, we've been victims of identity theft, and we think we're being followed. Would you please look after the kids?
It was scary. And then we thought, now we're really going to go to the police, because now we have a case. There's somebody following us. And they said, well, if it has to do with anything online again, I'm sorry, we can't help you. Oh my goodness, that was just awful. We felt so alone at that point. So, and that we were victims of identity theft twice. They did that to us twice. So just after we changed everything, we got a new phone number, we got new everything, and then the person calls me on the phone and says, I know where you live. And I thought, I changed my number. How did you get this number? That was so eerie, creepy. So be careful. That's why we are very careful with, YouTube doesn't want people sharing anyway where you're living. You're not supposed to out. Now, some YouTube people do. They say, we live in so-and-so city, in this tiny little city, and this is our address. Be careful, folks, if you're one of those people. It's not a safe world out there. It's not like it used to be back in the old days when you could leave your door unlocked, and it's just not safe anymore, unfortunately. So be careful if you're one of those people and you've put on your page somewhere your address, your street address, and where you live. So we don't let people know what city we live in, because people can easily find out where you live and stalk you, and who knows what else. It's a crazy world.
And
So be careful.
I recommend if you're online getting an antivirus protection. When I got my little laptop, it automatically came with one, but it expires. So the sad thing is that you do have to pay money for those. So find one that's affordable, because I think they can help you, because they keep track, like, hey, just so you know, we noticed that there was a login to this. Did you do this? So that's the good thing. So if you can afford it, get antivirus protection.
Yes, definitely. And so, what are we supposed to do as Christians about it? Well, first of all, we are not supposed to steal ourselves. And number one, not number one is an order, but I was just thinking, like, that's a bullet point. And then another bullet point would be, if we have been stolen from, we need to. I know we may be angry, but we need to forgive that person. If we don't get to go up to them personally and say, I forgive you for what you've done, after prayer, of course, because we can't do that on our own. We need God's help. He's going to help us through that. Or just in our mind say, well, I didn't get a chance to go up to that person, but Lord, help me to forgive this person, because I'm just so angry, or I'm just so scared, or whatever. So
the next bullet point: be wise, be careful what information you share and where.
Yes.
Even with your bank, as we told you.
Yeah, that's the sad part. Yep.
It's a crazy world out there, folks. And it seems to be getting crazier. People are so sneaky. Like, we had never even heard of that device that can go through your wallet and find that kind of stuff until this happened to us recently.
Right. Yeah. So be careful. And let us know in your comments if you want to, if you've been a victim of some kind of theft, whether someone stole a material item from you, or took your debit card, or they forged a check on you, or you were a part of identity theft, a victim of that. Or if you don't want to comment and you don't want to leave that information, that's fine. You can just send us an email at
For His Name's Sake, that's 2 S's, For His Name's Sake 106@gmail.com.
Right. Yep. And then we thought, this part of this new thing that we're trying, we thought at the end of our discussions we would mention that we have a GoFundMe account. It's not to make you feel guilty at all. It's only, this is between you and God. You can pray about it and say, Lord, should I give to this family? Should I not? That's between you and God. If you want to give something, and it can be anything. It could be $10. We've had people give $10. We've had people give, in the thousands. We haven't heard from those people in a while, though. I don't know what happened to them, but that's okay. We're not holding any grudges against them. Who knows what they've gone through in life? I don't know. But it's just to help us in our, because the three of us are not working. And you can check out videos about that, about why we're not working.
Because we've had commenters say, well, that's your own fault.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, just please watch the videos all the way through so you get the whole story. I think that's another, and I'm not talking about you guys, I'm talking about random viewers who come to the channel. Some of them are trolls, but some, they just don't watch all the way. They assume first, and then they comment right then. So
what were you going to say about the GoFundMe account? How can they find out where it is?
I'm sorry, that got blurry. Okay, there we are.
Okay.
You can find it in the description box, and I know a lot of people, they just don't like to do that. I always like looking at the description box. I like to see what the content creators maybe wrote in there. And so for those of you who are not technology wise, and I'm not making fun of you, because there are some new people who are coming on YouTube who have never been here before. So under the video, under the title, there is a space called the description box. I don't even know if they call it that anymore, but you click it, and underneath is anything that the content creators have written, or they might have links to things. So you'll see a link to a GoFundMe, and then they'll take you to the GoFundMe page. And on the GoFundMe, if you've never been on GoFundMe, it's a fundraiser. GoFundMe themselves, they take 10% or something of what was donated to you, so keep that in mind. Nothing in your end, it's on our end. And we leave a description about our situation and give updates on it from time to time.
Yeah.
For those of you who may be wondering, we're living on our surplus money, but that's only going to last so long.
Yeah, it's dwindling down quickly, I've been told by my husband, so yeah.
So that's one link, and another link that you'll find is how to become a member for 99 cents a month. Now I know with taxes it might be closer to like $1 and something, but I'm just kind of like rounding it up. This is what the YouTube increments give us. The first one is 99 cents.
Yeah.
And it's called Fishers and Men, and that's for men and women.
Right.
And you can find behind the scenes of our lives. Sometimes we show you where we sing and how we set up. We do original songs that my mom and I have written. She more than I have only written two. Or anything else that we just want to share with the members. And we're so grateful to every one of you who has joined our membership page.
Yes. Appreciate that. Okie dokie. Well, thank you so much for watching.
We hope that you have a blessed day.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.